This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for February 9th, 2026. Guests making dining reservations for Disneyland Resort or Walt Disney World Resort no longer have the option to select their allergies. Previously, in the My Disney Experience app, the Disneyland app, or on the resort websites, guests had the option to select from a list of common allergens when making a dining reservation. These included egg, fish, milk, peanut, shellfish, soy, tree nut, wheat or gluten, sesame, and other. Now the Dietary Requests tab of a dining reservation page only includes the following notice without the list of options. The notice was also present before, but it says, guests must notify their server about any allergy-friendly requests. While we take steps to help mitigate cross-contact, we cannot guarantee that any of the items are completely free of allergens. Our allergy-friendly recipes may use highly refined oils such as soybean oil and/or ingredients that are processed in facilities that also process allergens. It is ultimately our guests' discretion to make an informed choice based upon their individual dietary needs. For more information about allergy-friendly requests at Disney-owned and operated locations, please ask to speak with our special diets-trained personnel upon arrival at the location. There's then a link to the special diets request pages of the Walt Disney World or Disneyland website. Guests editing or checking into a dining reservation also don't see the option to add a specific dietary restriction. Instead, they must tell their server at the restaurant. There have been some situations in the last couple of years where it makes sense to just let people do this, especially if people are just going to select other. And you're going to have to, no matter what, you have to talk to the server and probably to a chef anyway. So I think this makes sense, but an interesting change that the allergy community has been talking about that we wanted to make sure everyone was aware of. Work is moving rapidly on the repainting of Cinderella Castle in the Magic Kingdom, although the progress is definitely not pretty. To help with the process, the surrounding moat is almost completely drained so crews can get closer to the castle. More gray paint has appeared on the castle as the project of restoring it to the classic gray color scheme continues. Around the rear right side, the castle turrets continue to receive new paint, with several of the bracket details receiving light gray paint along with the trim above. Several more pieces in this area have also been painted. We did notice that some of the paint is dripping down onto the bricks of the castle, as shown here. Moving over to the northeast corner of the castle, this section is now almost completely gray. The painting also seems to be focused on the left side of the castle, with only a small section of turret left pink in the photo you're looking at now. Draining began on Wednesday morning, February 4th, and continued rapidly for the past few days. The only water left is now a small amount that is left over from the drain, leaving dirt and debris washed up on the concrete banks of the moat. Among the debris are lost guest souvenirs like bubble wands, magic bands. We also spotted a pair of Rogue 3D glasses. Disney announced the castle repainting project last summer. The icon received its current color scheme in 2020 in preparation for the park's 50th anniversary. A new foundation is under construction on the site of Piston Peak National Park, the upcoming Cars area of Frontierland at the Magic Kingdom. We got a look at construction from Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The foundation is a large square in the ground, not far from the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad entrance. In our photo here, it's on the right, but now a closer look. There appears to be a bed of rebar in the ground surrounded by concrete and wood. Concrete could be poured over this later. Closer to the foreground is a temporary wood structure surrounded by caution tape. Closer to Liberty Square, we saw beams on the ground in front of scaffolding, although it's hard to tell the exact purpose from this distance. The scaffolding is behind scrim and walls along the Frontierland boardwalk. According to concept art, the boardwalk will remain. The beams are in the former riverbed, which will be repurposed into a smaller river. There are no clear buildings where the foundation is near Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but it could be support for the future geysers in that area. It's also possible there will be a small building that isn't pictured in concept art or that plans have changed. Who knows? Piston Peak National Park will include an off-road rally race ride and a family fun attraction. And Imagineers have said they're keeping sightlines in mind during the design and construction of this project. According to the Orlando Sentinel and an interview they did with Ken Ricci, Disney is almost ready to reopen Frozen Ever After post-refurbishment with more than just new audio-animatronics. According to the Walt Disney World calendar, Frozen Ever After is going to reopen on Thursday, February 12th. We told you that already. The ride has been closed since January 26th for the installation of those updated animatronics of Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff with the physical faces rather than projected ones. In the interview, Ken Ricci is a member of the executive team for Walt Disney Imagineering, and he stated that the crews used the ride's downtime to update more than just the animatronics. The refurbishment period allowed Disney to update and refresh the following components. So again, those new animatronic heads with silicone skin. There's also an updated show control system, refreshed show lighting, and set touch-ups were done throughout the ride. Quote, anytime an attraction goes down, we take an opportunity to freshen up what we can, Ricci said. So we touched up a lot and some show lighting so it would look refreshed. Regarding the replacement of the former projection-based faces, Ricci explains that this is a more lifelike articulated head that has a silicone skin. Disney needed to actually modify the neck of the existing figures to coordinate with the new head. So they're not fully new figures, they're just new heads on them. Quote, then we literally had to modify the figures' necks to accept the change in the heads. And that took a few days, but we did a lot of pre-planning with technology and software to make sure that we were ready to port over these figures. Frozen Ever After opened at Epcot back in 2016 with those projection faces. The versions of the ride with the animatronic fully articulated faces first debuted in World of Frozen in Hong Kong in 2023. They'll be premiering in March at Disney Adventure World in Paris. And of course, similar versions of the figures debuted in Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disney Sea when that opened in 2024. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to wwnt.travel and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts to Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. The best part is their concierge services are 100% free. So book today. Real quick, I also want to mention Carousel of Products at carouselofproducts.com. I'm going to cut, I don't know where this camera is. I'm in the dark. There it is. We got the close-up. I couldn't see where the camera was. There we go. We are still doing our pin of the month. It is still Rock and Roller Coaster at least until the 15th of the month. So you can still get this pin design on the 15th. This is going to switch over. Also, it is now only not an annual membership. You can now do monthly memberships to get this pin, so you can pay every month. It is slightly discounted, though, if you buy the annual. Meanwhile, we are starting to run out of our pin of the month kickoff collection. The mystery boxes, those are just about sold out at this point. And then I've got two things to announce. First of all, don't cut back to me, but let's show people. It's time to reveal, look at my hands. It's time to reveal the magnet of the month for February. Ta-da! So we're celebrating, this year marks the anniversary. 1986 is when, how many years is that? In 96, 06, 16, 20. 40, wow, is that 40 years? Is that right? Since 8, yeah. 40 years of the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown, Vacation Jamboree, whatever you'd like to call it. So we are representing the Bears, at least one bear, in their springtime apparel. There's also another reference to a famous WDWNT friend on this magnet. But yes, February representing the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown. So get your February magnet now by subscribing either monthly or annually. And then we have a major announcement. We are adding an extra magnet this month. This is not part of the program. This is a magnet you buy separately. In honor of the recent news that has happened that we found out about, we are introducing, again, this is a single purchase. You can just buy this magnet alone. This is the new CEO magnet. Yes, it's not an original theme park character, but kind of is, actually. So get your new CEO magnet now at carouselofproducts.com. Yes, and churros are back. Remember that? Well, that's what this one referenced. But celebrate all the hype and excitement around the new CEO with this collectible magnet. There you go. Now we can get back to the news. Here, Maui, why don't you hold him? There you go. Ta-da. Crews have started to remove elements of Restaurantosaurus at DinoLand USA at Disney's Animal Kingdom following the closure last weekend. The area, of course, is becoming the new Tropical America's Land. The DinoLand archway was torn down a few days ago. One of its base supports remains on the right next to the Moana meet and greet, but the other base has now been removed. Inside the land, the show building for the new Encanto ride continues to grow. The building is now split into distinct sections of different heights, which is more visible in aerial photography. Some interior work has begun, but the ride system itself has not yet been installed. Over the walls and scrim, we could see the walkway that guests used to access Restaurantosaurus and Dinosaur for the past few months while they've been the last standing parts of DinoLand. With walls down, the walkway now cuts right through 2 dirt construction zones. In the photo you're looking at now, the Encanto show building is in the back left, and the former Dinosaur Treasures gift shop is on the right. From another angle, we could see Restaurantosaurus. Both the restaurant and the gift shop will be repurposed for the new Tropical America's Land, so we don't expect significant demolition, but some. Especially more on the Restaurantosaurus exterior areas. But in these photos, you can see the off-white tarp covering has been partially removed from a section of the restaurant that held a bar. For reference, here's a photo of that section before. Of course, things like stanchions, umbrellas, and trash cans have also been removed from the area. The Restaurantosaurus sign and various props are still in place. Christmas lights remain on the Eat Water Tower. Though the dinosaur show building is largely out of sight, we could see Dino-Sue still standing outside. Dino-Sue is a replica of a real-life T-Rex fossil. In the foreground of the photo is a surprising remnant of Dinorama. Hidden by construction walls for several months, the concrete area with white rocks was once a planter that held Dinorama shrubbery, as seen in the picture you're looking at now. But all the surrounding infrastructure was removed long ago. It's possible the planter might be reused. I tend to think it's going away. They just didn't get to it yet for some reason. Either way, we'll keep you in the loop. Tropical America is opening sometime in 2027. If the Magnet Man can come through. Joe Rohde, the former Imagineer who led the creation of Disney's Animal Kingdom, revealed on Instagram that prior to his retirement, he had spent 15 years trying to get the Tropical America's Land added to the park. And even some of his plans included replacing DinoLand. Since DinoLand's permanent closure just a few days ago, Rohde has been sharing behind-the-scenes stories from the land's creation. But he said in an Instagram post much more recent, "For all my posting about the late great DinoLand, I do want to make something clear. Up until the day of my retirement, my team and I tried for 15 years to get a Tropical America land into this park, and many such design attempts involved gutting DinoLand to do it. The Tropical America's Land that has been announced and is now under construction continues certain of those motivations, although was developed after Rohde left the Walt Disney Company. He did say he has been invited to consult on the project now and again. That's no secret. I congratulate the team on finally being able to lock a deal, which I was not. The underlying business has changed in all those years, so this version is a response to those new realities, just as the previous versions were responding to theirs." Rohde said he can vouch for the team creating the new land and that their level of research is excellent. The sophistication of the detail is excellent. Their commitment to the vision of the park is unwavering, and just as it always is, the work is hard. The path to excellence is neither smooth nor straight nor level, but those Imagineers are devoted to the task. Rohde concluded, "Parks exist to create memories. DinoLand created memories. Those memories still exist, and they are true product, not the property itself. The new land will create more memories, and they too will be treasured. It may have to find its own audience, and that audience may be distinct from dino aficionados, but as far as depth and quality, it is there. For example, if you take one look at even the impressionistic early representation of the Maya pyramid on the D23 model or the marketing rendering, and you are a fan of pre-Columbian cultures, well, if you know, you know." So Joe Rohde giving his sign-off on Tropical America. So if you're angry about the project and you're a Joe Rohde fan, now you can't complain. That's how it works. The new bus stop at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort is coming along. The old bus stop was demolished, boo, to create a brand new one in the midst of the resort getting a new roadway entrance. The former roadway entrance has been cleaned up after the old guard shack was demolished. It looks like the former median and exit road are being turned into an extension of the nearby green space. Located off Seven Seas Drive, this road will become a bus-only entrance. Closer to the Great Ceremonial House is the new bus stop. Since our last update, crews have installed more roof framing. Crew members in lifts were working on either end of the bus stop during our Monday morning visit. The ground around the bus stop has yet to be repaved, although the dirt has been flattened. And at the end of the construction site, rolling planters sit on a new sidewalk blocking views of the construction. For now, buses are dropping guests off at the porte-cochere of the Great Ceremonial House, joining cars entering from the new Floridian Way entrance. We spotted 2 new buildings at the site of the new pool at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. The pool is part of an expansion of the Meadow swimming pool area. We previously shared an aerial view of the buildings last month, but we got our first in-person look at them. They are presumably restrooms and dining locations. They might be back-of-house facilities also. The buildings both have stone on the bottom half of the exterior facade. Yellow and white paneling appears on the top half, but the roofs are not yet complete. Crews were actively working at the site during our visit. The expansion will also include a new pool, possible hot tubs, a tennis court, and 2 pickleball courts. It's not yet clear where exactly the tennis and pickleball courts will be, but construction will continue into mid-2026. The Meadow swimming pool, as well as the Wilderness swimming pool, remain open during construction. However, seating around the Meadow swimming pool is limited, and guests may see or hear construction in the area. What I hope is not happening, or if these buildings are new dining and maybe restroom facilities, are they going to knock down the old Meadow swimming pool facilities? If so, that will be very sad. That just seems to be the fate of Fort Wilderness and the Polynesian right now. Is just every 70s building must be leveled, and it breaks my heart. Disney has shared that construction at the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa will continue through early 2027, a significant extension of the original completion timeline. In November of 2025, Disney posted that the completion timeline for the Grand's extensive refurb would be mid-2026. However, that's now been updated into next year. The remaining construction extending into 2027 is on various areas of the resort. The lobby opened in October of 2025 with new carpeting and furniture, with the Perch Lobby Bar following closely in November. The last area awaiting reopening is the Garden View Tea Room, which has been closed for 6 years, having shut down with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The tea room will reopen on March 19th. Bookings will become available on February 19th. But more work, including outside at the Porte Cochere and beyond, will continue into 2027. No word Disney is not committed to the return of the gingerbread house this year yet. I hope they will. We'll find out soon. Bob Iger shared a post on Instagram with pictures from a morning he and future CEO Josh D'Amaro spent at Disneyland. The pair posed in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle and the partner statue, and in the post, Iger states, "A morning at Disneyland with Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO of the Walt Disney Company. I can't think of a better way to celebrate Josh's appointment." The current and upcoming CEOs then walked around Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with an entourage of other cast members. D'Amaro will take the position during the annual meeting on March 18, 2026. The board also intends to appoint D'Amaro as a director immediately following that meeting. Dana Walden was also a candidate for the role, but she was named the new president and chief creative officer. The announcement came after a unanimous vote took place on February 2nd. This is actually the morning that we got to, later in the day, Josh was set free and got to talk to us, and I talked about that on Friday's show. Please go watch Friday's show if you're curious about why I got to meet with Josh D'Amaro. And, but the passing of the torch, this is it. Is this like the goodbye for Bob, or are we going to get a more poignant goodbye for Mr. Iger before he departs? I don't know. This might be it. According to the Orange County Register, there has been another case of measles exposure reported at Disneyland. This comes just a week after the last case was reported in the parks. On Saturday, the Orange County Healthcare Agency reported that an infected guest visited Disneyland Park on January 22nd from around 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Disney California Adventure from roughly 3 p.m. until closing. The time difference is to account for overlap. This visit would have occurred roughly a week before the previously reported case where an individual visited locations at the Disneyland Resort while infectious on January 28th. The cited potential exposure windows include Goofy's Kitchen, Disneyland Park, and Disney California Adventure Park. Orange County health officials urge those who might have come into contact with the individual to contact the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or healthcare professional. Symptoms can include fever, cough, runny nose, and red eyes. A spreading rash can begin after those symptoms. There are populations who cannot receive the measles vaccine, whether due to age, health conditions, or allergies, said Anissa Davis, the Orange County Deputy Health Officer. Those individuals may face significantly higher health risks when exposed to the virus. According to the CDC, 733 measles cases have been reported across 20 different states this year so far. Tokyo Disneyland also had a recorded measles case, and they've put out hand sanitizer and the such around the park because of this, so it seems to be going around everywhere. Following a 29-13 victory against the New England Patriots, Kenneth Walker and Sam Darnold of the Seattle Seahawks are heading to Disneyland. In fact, they were there today. By the time you watch this show, it will have happened. But Super Bowl 60 took place at Levi's Stadium at Santa Clara, California, and Seattle was a favorite to win the game. But the winning team is often celebrated at Walt Disney World or Disneyland with a small parade and a visit from the MVP, although sometimes more players visit or other players. Over the years, the biggest names in Super Bowl history have taken part in Disney's What's Next commercial, where the Super Bowl champion shouts those famous lines, famous words that I'm going to Disneyland or I'm going to Disney World. After this year's Super Bowl, Kenneth Walker and Sam Darnold plan to celebrate at Disneyland. You're looking at that footage now because it's happened by the time you're watching this. So congratulations to the Seahawks. And oh, I'm sorry, Patriots fans. Boo. That's how I lose subscribers. Anyway, that's it. It happened. As Disney California Adventure celebrates its 25th anniversary, that's why I'm in this shirt today, a Disney executive has shared that the short-lived LuminAria Nighttime Spectacular may return to the park. What? LuminAria was Disney California Adventure's very first holiday nighttime spectacular, in effect, really their first nighttime show anyway. It took place in Paradise Bay and featured low-level fireworks alongside the choreographed fountains, plus an interactive element, video screens displaying holiday cards that guests illustrated throughout the day. This art would be scanned and then appear on pop-up screens that emerged from large presents that floated into the lagoon. A 60-foot-tall fiber optic tree would also rise out of the lagoon. The show lasted for around 18 minutes and featured a soundtrack of both classic and obscure holiday songs, plus the original song Shine, which is great, by the way, which included parts of Remember the Magic, Walt Disney World's 25th anniversary theme song. LuminAria did only run for 8 weeks, though, from November 9th, 2001 through January 2nd, 2002, and then it never returned, and no permanent nighttime show, not a parade, appeared in the park until 2010 when World of Color debuted. According to the show's creator, Steve Davison, LuminAria was heavily based in pyrotechnics, literally because of the time and because of how we put the show together. Walt Disney Creative Entertainment struggled to work with a lack of permanent show infrastructure, a short development cycle, and a restrictive budget that resulted in a nighttime show that many guests felt short of spectacular. Another big reason LuminAria and fireworks in general never return to the park is depending on the wind. The smoke kind of gets trapped in that area and around guests, and it makes it hard to see the show or to even really enjoy it because you're inhaling smoke. However, Davison has never abandoned LuminAria. Even in a 2009 interview with D23, he theorized, we can bring LuminAria back. I was listening to the track the other day and thinking if you put LuminAria into World of Color infrastructure, it would do everything it ever wanted to do and more. It seems Davison's drive and dream to revive LuminAria may be coming true. Laughing Place reported on X, they were at this D23 event, and they said that Steve Davison hinted once again at the event that LuminAria could return in some form in the future. So he's not given up on LuminAria. LuminAria is probably in concept a good show. They admitted to there was no budget, there was no time, and that smokescreen really worked against them very strongly. I love that original song is wonderful. It feels like every great Disney nighttime show original song, but obviously the show ran for 8 weeks. It was seen by very few people, and even less people than any other short-lived nighttime spectacular ever, because 2001 DCA had almost no guests in it. So, yeah, this is definitely one of those nerdy fan shows. If you've gone down the rabbit hole, you've seen it, you know about it. It just didn't work. But yeah, using the, that being said, you'd have to replace World of Color Season of Light, which is one of my favorites. It didn't air last year, but chances are it's going to come back this year. A LuminAria style replacement of World of Color Season of Light is going to bother some guests because that show is very, very well loved. Let me know in the comments if you've seen one or both. I'm going to guess you've seen probably just World of Color because I haven't seen LuminAria and not many people did. But let me know how you feel about it in the comments if you're a Disneyland fan, how you feel about that possibly happening. Speaking of the 25th anniversary of DCA, Soarin' over California has returned for the birthday. The opening day version of Soarin' is running February 6th through July 1st this year, and then Soarin' over America is on the way to the Disneyland Resort. Soarin' over California usually runs this time of year anyway. It usually starts in about a month's time for the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. Of course, it recently ran at Epcot for the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. But yes, July 2nd at DCA, we'll get Soarin' across America. So enjoy Soarin' over California while you still can, because I don't know if it's ever coming back to Florida at this point, because we're also getting Soarin' over America. A photo booth with 25th anniversary film strips is available for guests visiting DCA during this celebration. The photo booth is located outside of the exit of Mickey's PhilharMagic in Hollywoodland. The special 25th anniversary designs are $10 for 2 strips, and each strip has 3 photos. There's a total of 4 different designs. The first is black with an Art Deco style design. Mickey leans against a 25 on a DCA graphic on the bottom. The next is blue with scalloped photos, and Mickey and Minnie pose with a 25 years of DCA logo. And the last two have simple square photos. One is dyed with a 25 years of DCA logo, and the last is white with the original California Adventure logo that lasted from 2001 until 2010. While we're talking about DCA's 25th anniversary, Sunday was the actual anniversary, and there were two special things done for that day. First of all, they had special birthday buttons. I'm celebrating buttons were printed celebrating the anniversary of the park. Those were given out to guests as they entered. And then also given out as they entered was a special edition one-day only guide map featuring the original DCA. It has a map. It has that original fun map of the park featured inside, and throughout celebrates the history of the park, but mostly focused again on that original 2001 park. It is so crazy in 2026 now. We can look back with nostalgia on the disaster that was DCA. Because in 2007, when we started this website, they were still living that nightmare of that failure of a park. And enough success has been garnered and enough nostalgia has been built that now we can celebrate the Maliboomer and California Screamin' and Superstar Limo and Mulholland Madness and Burger Invasion and all those things. It's pretty crazy how times have changed, but pretty cool to see. If you want to check out the map in full, we have it posted on our website. Humphrey the Bear has made his first Disney Parks appearance at Storytellers Cafe. He joins the characters of Darnold's Tales of Adventure dinner buffet. This introduction was part of the DCA 25th anniversary offerings. Of course, it's also 25 years of Disney's Grand Californian Hotel. Humphrey has replaced Goofy for dinner, at least when we visited. The mischievous, snack-loving grizzly bear of Brownstone National Park is featured in several Disney animated shorts, including two of his own as the leading star. Humphrey's humorous antics in Goofy and Donald Duck cartoons and beyond even inspired Humphrey's service and supplies at Disney California Adventure. He's also basically one of the mascots of Disney's Wilderness Lodge. He's been featured in a number of Disney parks and places all around the world. This is really cool, but two things need to happen now. Number one, Walt Disney World must introduce the Humphrey the Bear meet and greet. I don't even care if he's just at Wilderness Lodge. If you want to add him to Whispering Canyon, make that a character meal, I'm in. And the second thing that must happen now is the proper merchandise. Humphrey has been featured on a lot of things in recent years, especially at Wilderness Lodge, but we need a plush. We need a Humphrey the Bear plush. Now that he's physically there, kids can fall in love with him. We need a plush stuffed animal of Humphrey to sell at both the Grand Californian and at Wilderness Lodge. Disney, make it happen. Thanks to the Disney Magical Kingdom blog on Instagram, we now have a construction update on the new experience coming to Toy Story Land at Hong Kong Disneyland. Announced last year as an all-new exclusive Pixar entertainment experience, Hong Kong Disneyland shared a map highlighting the experience's location somewhere between Toy Story Land and World of Frozen. This is kind of the entrance path to Toy Story Land from Fantasyland. No real details beyond that were announced at that time other than that they were building an experience. It was later announced that the expansion will be home to a new Pixar stage show featuring immersive theatrical technology. We also got a preview that showed that there would be a Monsters Incorporated scene. But according to Disney, this technology will blend real and digital environments to connect generations of Pixar fans. But moving into this year, the building's main structural steel framework has now taken shape just beyond the current bounds of the land, just beyond that bamboo that looks kind of like grass and makes you feel like you're actually really small. The exterior details will be revealed later in the process, but for now we can see that they're pretty far along on building the structure. And because it's just a theater, I don't think we have long to wait to see how this is all going to shake out. That being said, is it going to be themed to Toy Story Land, or is this some sort of like non-themed space between lands where a theater will just exist? I'm curious to see. Another prop from the defunct Muppets courtyard at Disney's Hollywood Studios has been spotted in the Muppet Show Revival special that aired on ABC and Disney+. The first prop we noticed was that Muppets Lab sign from Muppet Vision 3D. We found that Easter egg. But this next Easter egg was found by the following folks on X, who gave credit to Gifts of Puppets for the find. Pops is the stage doorman for the Muppet Theater and the owner of the Happiness Hotel. The PizzeRizzo plaque is seen here hanging on the wall in a scene featuring him. The plaque was formerly posted inside the entrance of PizzeRizzo and honored the fictional winners of the annual Pizza Eating Contest Hall of Fame. Very cool. There's more apparently in here. It's taken us a little while to find them all, but there's apparently at least one more reference. We'll keep our eyes peeled for it in the Muppet Show. But obviously, big fans of Muppet's Courtyard and Muppet Vision behind this project. It's very cool to see it referenced in this revival. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind the show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to our WIGS members watching who make the show happen every week. Part of that discounted admission also counts for our upcoming event, a sweet emotional farewell tour, a tribute to Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. We are just days away, so this is your last chance. Get that streaming ticket while you can at events.wdwnt.com. We also have the in-person tickets available also. We've opened up individual tickets as well for an evening with Jerry Rees. That's on Friday, February 27th. If you want to join us for just that, there are tickets for that as well. Check it out. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.